Well, this is Reg Hart from the Cineforum in Toronto. Cineforum is in my home. And if you'd told me when I was a younger person I was going to be inviting absolute strangers into my home in my senior years, I would have said, you're crazy, that's not going to happen. But back in the 90s, 1992, I was doing my presentations in a bar up the street and had the place so packed people couldn't applaud this way, they had to applaud that way. And you could win and you can work miracles, but after a while they get used to it and then they get kind of difficult to be with. And one day, after experiencing a moment like that, I invited the audience to come down to my place for what I thought would be one night. And I thought I'd find someplace new, and folks walked in and said, "We like this." I said, "You like it?" They said, "Yeah." I said, "Then good, this is where it'll be." This is where it's been. And since then, and God knows it's been under attack, because one of the things that is not kosher in the city of Toronto is inviting strangers into your home. Which, if you don't know it, is one of the things in the Last Judgment that you'll be damned for, not inviting strangers into your home. And I've been on the right side of that particular thing for a long time now. But anyway, I love 3D. Now, a lot of folks tell you that you have to wear glasses and all that stuff. I love 3D. I just love looking at 3D movies. I got a ton of them here. I love looking at nature documentaries with bugs, birds, bees, and fish, you know? There's nothing like seeing bugs, birds, and fish in 3D floating between you and the screen. I've got documentaries on whales, all kinds of stuff. I just sit there going, wow, this is so cool, man. Look at that whale. It's right in front of my nose. Well, this is an amazing, another in a good long series of superbly produced 3D Blu-rays from the 3D Film Archive, run by Bob Fermanack and a group of other people. And Bob is a longtime devotee of 3D, and he's tracked down just about every 3D movie there ever was, and he's working real hard to restore them, and when they're done, they look better than they did the first time folks saw them. And this is the latest release. It's from Flicker Alley, and it's got some amazing stuff, which only somebody who really loves 3D would bother to get, you know? I mean, you've got to love this stuff to get it. And the first offering is a film called A Day in the Country, which was filmed around 1940-something, and it's taken from an anaglyph copy because the people that had the original left and right sides decided they were not really very important and taking up shelf space, and they destroyed them. God save us, you know. Henri Langlois, who fathered the Paris Cinematheque, said that when he started it, he was offered a copy of Cleopatra with Theda Bara on 35mm silent film, big production. He thought, Theda Bara, big star, Fox, big studio, they'll take care of it. He says, well, that film no longer exists. It's gone. He said, I had a chance to save it, but it no longer exists. It's gone. I thought they would take care of it themselves. It's their investment. Well, if anything has proven true, it's that Hollywood's done, not just Hollywood, the global motion picture industry, done a pretty poor job of looking after their investment. A lot of films are lost. It's amazing how much work has been lost. Deliberately by accountants who could count the beans, but they couldn't count the dollars, you know, the pennies. They couldn't count the dollars. And so we're lucky to have what we have. And they found a red and blue anaglyph copy of A Day in the Country, and they separated, which is not an easy thing to do, and they created a beautiful, some ghosting, but beautiful 3D left-right of A Day in the Country, which has a voice narration done by Joe Besser. Now, who's Joe Besser? Well, Joe Besser was the last of the Three Stooges from Columbia Pictures. Remember the last ones where they got this guy, Joe Besser, and he did a stinky voice. That's his character, was Stinky. He brought, they had started out Moe, Larry, and Curly. Curly had a heart attack. He was replaced by Shemp. Shemp was in there for a long time. Then Shemp had a heart attack and died, and then they brought in Joe Besser. Those are those last Three Stooges shorts. So that's Joe Besser. He's from the Three Stooges, and the Stooges made 2 3D movies, Spooks and Pardon My Backfire, which are just tremendous. And I have those. But they got Joe Besser to do the narration for this, and he's pretty good. And then you get a lot of in-your-face 3D, the kind of stuff that we think of when we see 3D. I'm watching it, and I've got them practically right up to my nose. It's fun, a lot of fun. And then we see the Black Swan. Now, the Black Swan was done for Festival of Britain, and I've been trying to see this for years, And finally, I got a chance to see it, and it is gorgeous. If ever 3D was made for anything, it was made for dance. Because when you're watching dance on screen in 2D, it's flat. And you lack the gravity, the weight of the dancers. But 3D brings us that emotional weight of seeing those bodies in 3-dimensional space. And it is just wonderful to look at. Absolutely wonderful to look at. And then, and only a real 3D devotee would do this, we got in the 50s, they come up with something called stereo slides, stereo camera. And people like Harold Lloyd, the big film star Harold Lloyd, silent films, got into 3D. A lot of people, Dwight Eisenhower, President of the United States, got into 3D, bought one of these cameras, and he started taking 3D slides and stuff. So then we get treated to a bunch of those, and those are terrific to look at. And then we get another strange thing called Games in Depth. It was done by Polaroid for the World's Fair in Montreal, but then not used. God knows where they found this, but they did find it, and they restored it, and it's fun to look at. And then we get a whole selection of slides that were 3D slides that were shot by Harold Lloyd, and they're vocal narrated by Harold Lloyd's granddaughter. And those are terrific, terrific fun. And then we get the real coup de grace, the coup de grace, the coup de grace, as Groucho Marx would say, which is El Corazón de la Espada, which means the heart and the sword. And it was the first 3D movie shot in Mexico. It's got Cesar Romero, who we know from The Joker and the Batman show. And it's got Katie Arado, who you may not know, but she's a terrific actress in a lot of great American westerns and stuff. And it's, swords and stuff and everything in your face kind of thing. And they could have done this a couple of years earlier, but what happened was Bob Furmanek, 3D Archive, took their time getting the rights sorted out and got themselves right back to the camera negative, I believe, and they made a beautiful master, and it is stunning to look at, absolutely stunning to look at. And you gotta love this, They're not concerned about will it sell. They're concerned about, can we save it? Can we save it? Can we restore it? What have you got to do to restore it? And there's a goddamn good group of people working on these things. You go to the 3D site and you find out their archives, 3D Film Archive. You go to their site and you find out what they're doing here. Love is what propels the 3D Film Archive, and their love abounds beautifully, wonderfully. So it's a real pleasure to turn you on to this. There's even a trailer for this movie called Frankenstein's Bloody Terror, which was shot in 70mm 3D in Spain, and I hope that's on the list for their restorations, because it looks like a lot of fun. And there's something else, a trailer for a movie called The 3D Movie, which was done in the 80s, and it's got shots from a lot of other stuff. We see an awful lot of those little clips in the trailer. I hope that's on the agenda, because that looks like it would be something worth checking out. God bless the 3D Film Archive and Flickr Alley for bringing us 3D Rarities #2. Cheers. You can buy it on Amazon. Tell them Reg Hart sent you.